Over to the new supermarket in Hartley's Harbour. Getting groceries for the missus. I do it every Monday now. Before the crowd gets in. I used to hate to go grocery shopping one time. But now I don't mind it at all. Because, you know, if there's one sure proof that times are getting more civilized than they used to be, it's the way business is carried on nowadays. Like this, with everything laid out, plainly marked with the prices for everyone to see. Not hid away behind the counter. 2 years ago was something awful. What got me to thinking how awful it used to be was me old Algebra slippers that I put on under me rubber boots this morning. Grandma don't like me wearing them because they're a disgrace, she said. I've had 3 new pairs of soles, 2 sets of uppers in 30 years. But I still treasure them because they remind me of the one and only time we got the better of a businessman in Pigeon Inlet. I call them the Algebra slippers because it was algebra we used to get the better of that old skinflint, Josiah Bartle.
Without molasses.
I didn't know much about algebra in those days.
Taste this without molasses.
But we said it was a wonderful thing for helping a poor man
We don't have any
get the
raisins.
better off an old skinflint, like Josiah Bartle.
He's a pretty good fellow sometimes.
It all started one morning
A few raisins.
when Grandma Walcott
I can get him in a
ran
good
out of
mood.
molasses.
I've got to have some molasses by. You can't make a gingerbread without molasses.
Make me some potato salad. There's lots of potatoes left around the house.
Well, Suze Bartle is heading up that church organ fund committee, Grandpa. And she's asked everyone to do something special. Now, she asked me to make a gingerbread. And there's no arguing with Suze Bartle, and that's it.
Cully, you forgot how to make gingerbreads.
We owe Josiah Bartle over $100 on account right now.
And I can't afford to charge anymore until I get some money coming in from the spring fishery.
Well, I can't afford to sacrifice my reputation as the best cook in Pigeon Inlet by telling Suze Bartle that I don't know how to make a gingerbread. And I'd be ashamed to admit that we couldn't afford a drop of molasses to put in one. Now, just go on in there in the bedroom now and get one of them old coins. Parting with one of them won't hurt you.
Be careful, you got me all covered with flour. I won't touch a bit of gold, because that's put away for you and me for an emergency, in case we get sick or something. And I don't call baking gingerbreads for a church social any emergency.
Well, may the good Lord forgive you. Now, what about these old sealskins you've had out there in the porch all winter? Certainly you'll get enough for them for 10 gallons of molasses.
That one's all right. But this one, full of shot holes. I won't get much for him.
All the more reason to get rid of it than out there smelling up my porch.
There's enough good fur there to make a nice pair of slippers. I was thinking of doing that.
It's not slippers that we need in this house now, it's molasses. Now, you get your jacket and go on down to Josiah Bartle's and get me a couple of gallons. I've got to have 3 gingerbreads made by 5 o'clock this evening, or Suze Bartle is going to have it all over the harbor that I've turned lazy.
Not the best time to be selling sealskins. The price is probably down.
Well, the price is always down with Josiah. And don't go spinning yarns down there all day with that crowd that stays around the store. They're only up to mischief anyway.
I bought this mixing bowl from you last Tuesday, Mr. Bartle, and there's a crack running right up the side of it. A fine hairline one it is, too. Look right there. Now, it must have been in it when I bought it, and I'd like to have my $4 back.
There couldn't possibly have been a crack into this when you bought it, Jemima, because I do not sell damaged goods.
There must have been a crack into it when I bought it, because it's in there now. And I'm willing to swear on the good book that I didn't do anything to put it in there.
Mrs. Grimes, no doubt you did nothing to put it there. But the hot water you poured into it making bread probably did. And there's no refunds here for accidents like that.
Does that look like a fresh crack to you, Suze? Don't that look like it was putting that bowl when it was made as baked right into it?
Keep quiet, can't you?
It hurts.
Stop squirming and it won't hurt. How'd I ever get into this, I wonder?
I was just going to ask you that. Have you taken up barbering?
It's for the church organ project, Jemima. The minister got us all dripping cracked wanting a new organ for the church. Baking stuff, crocheting stuff, and even every youngster in the harbour a haircut, but he needs one now. Keep quiet, I told you.
I think your clippers need to be sharpened. You're pulling the hairs right out of that poor little thing's head instead of clipping them.
Don't go putting ideas into his head, Jemima, for heaven's sake. He'll be telling all the other youngsters that, and I'll be here for a week.
There's no need for you to get so testy. Now, don't you think that crack came there from manufacture, and that father-in-law of yours should give me back my money, or at least mark the price down?
You know there's no good talking to him when it comes to business, Jemima. He's even charging me for the use of the space in his store for the church barbering project.
Oh, he's even charging the church.
That's 2 rumors started about me since you come in here, Mrs. Grimes. That I sell damaged goods, and now that I'm taking money on the church. For your information, I am charging Suze $1 a day for the use of my space. And that will be my contribution to the church organ fund. But there's no money changing hands. It's all on paper, so to speak.
You think you'll get to heaven on paper, Mr. Bartle?
You get to heaven your way, Miss Grimes, and I'll get there mine. And I would be much obliged if you would take your mixing bowl and return to Artley's Arbor. And please, stop trying to injure my reputation as an honest businessman.
I wouldn't say that you got much of a reputation for anyone to injure Josiah.
Keep your head up, no won't hurt.
The clippers is blunt.
Now, see what you got done, Jemima? They'll be all over the harbour in 10 minutes if they clippers is blunt, and I'll never get another customer for the organ fund. Shut up.
Rumors. Rumors. That's all idle people got to do to entertain themselves. Start rumors about the rest of us who are working hard to make a living.
Afternoon, Mrs. Grimes. How are things in Hartley's Harbour?
Fine, Grandpa Wildcat, just fine. George's foot is better. The one he dropped the anvil on.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. What's Suze up to? Starting a barber shop?
She's torturing children for the church organ fund.
Oh, don't talk about Grandma Walcott's home cranking out gingerbread. Used up over 1 gallon of molasses at one crack and sent me down for more.
Speaking of cracks, Grandpa, would you say there was one in that bowl from manufacture or put during the last week?
Grandpa Walcott is here to make a purchase, Mrs. Grimes. Not to comment on the quality of my merchandise, sold or returned. Did I hear you say molasses, Grandpa? Girls, if you're not going to buy one of those hats, put them back where they belong. And run along home. Now, go on, get out, go on, get out, get. 2 gallons, Grandpa? Filled to the top?
Oh, that's the price if I were you, Grandpa. He puts everything up to double this time of the year when everybody's buying on account.
Excuse me, Josiah. What is the price on molasses these days?
The price?
Yes, on molasses.
On molasses? Business being what it is this time of year, Grandpa, molasses is, current price, $1 a gallon.
$1 a gallon?
That's the current price, Grandpa, yes.
That's twice as much as it was in the fall and out that same barrel, too.
Mrs. Grimes, if you want to take over these premises and run them, I'd be more than happy to rent them to you. In the meantime, I would be obliged if you would mind your own business and please let me run mine. It's $1 a gallon, Grandpa.
What about the sealskins then, Josiah? What's the price on them?
Sealskins, let me have a look. Sealskins is, current price, likewise, $1 each.
And what about the shot holes?
Shot holes, same as usual, 10 cents off for every shot hole.
All right, then. Fill my jug. We can't afford to keep those holy gingerbreads waiting, can we, Mrs. Grimes?
I'm almost finished. Be quiet for another minute.
I think them clippers are a bit bunk, Suze. I'm pulling on him. You should get Headley Morgan to sharpen them for you.
You got that all on balance, too. Just twice as much off on that side as the other.
Mrs. Grimes, I wish you'd make up your mind about that bowl and go on home out of it.
There's a bit of a slew onto him, all right, Suze.
What difference does it make? He's clean, that's what his mother wants. 10 cents, Louis. Tell Heber Smith to come in and tell him I'm not waiting any more than 3 minutes either.
Here you are, Grandpa. Here's your molasses. ½ gallon.
Half a gallon?
Half a gallon? He gave you 2 sealskins.
Like I said a few minutes ago, Mrs. Grimes, anytime anyone from Artley's Arbor wants to take over my business, just let me know. In the meantime, I'm running things my way.
There should be more than half a gallon, Josiah. That's only 50 cents worth.
No, Grandpa. ½ gallon is exactly right. 2 sealskins at $1 each is $2. And 15 shot holes in one At 10 cents a shot hole is $1.50. That means you've got 50 cents left. And here's your half-gallon of molasses. Here, you fella. Here, come over here. That's the boy. That's the boy. Come on. Come over here now. Susan's waiting to give you a nice haircut. That's a good boy. Have you got your 10 cents? Have you got your 10 cents? That's a good boy.
Excuse me, Josiah.
Yes, Grandpa, what is it?
There was near a shot hole in one of them sealskins, was there?
No, Grandpa, not that I could see.
So give him a gallon for the good one then. Why can't you?
Yes, and you could give me back the holy one, Josiah. I'll make some other use of it at home.
Grandpa, those two sealskins went together into a package deal. In other words, the good points of one was meant to offset the bad points of the other, like the shot holes. As far as I'm concerned, the deal is closed, sir.
Closed? I've changed my mind.
Grandpa, you don't seem to understand. We entered into what is known in the world of commerce as a verbal agreement. You did not object when I quoted the prices on skins and oles. So the agreement is concluded, and you got a fair bargain, sir, and you should know it.
A fair bargain? Oh, that have nothing to do with it, Grandpa.
Josiah, let's just forget the whole thing. Take your molasses back.
Yes, and you can always sell them skins somewhere else for more money.
Grandpa, don't go going on like that. You know I can't take this molasses and put it back in my barrel. Well, I'll lose half of it. And besides, it's unsanitary. You people have got to understand that this is how business is conducted. What's done cannot be undone. Or the world of business will not know where it stands from one day to the next. One minute, Mrs. Grimes there wants a bowl she cracked herself taken back, and the next minute you want your molasses taken back. What's done was fair, sir, in both cases. Neither of you contradicted it when it was done, and that is an end to it.
Go on, you all.
I'll thank you to watch your language against my father-in-law on his own premises. Besides, we got innocent children here.
Ah! Keep quiet. It's a torture chamber you got here if you ask me. And this bowl is no good to me for baking with a cracking to it. So maybe Sue's there can learn to cut hair proper with it, Grandpa. Remember when you was young, they used to put it on the head like this, didn't they, and cut around it?
Take that off!
That's your fault.
That's $4 you owe me for that bowl, Mrs. Grimes. And I'll take you to settle your account by the end of the week. Now, I'm tired of listening to the lot of you. It's time to close, so everybody out.
Everybody.
Yes, the church organ fund, too.
I can't go home with half-gallon of molasses.
You got your money's worth, Grandpa. Now, everybody out! Out! Out!
It didn't take Grandma long to worm the story out of me. And she told me to go straight back to Bartle's store the next day and get me rights. Or else she'd do it herself and disgrace me before the whole harbor. I spent the whole night tossing and turning, trying to think up a scheme to get the better of old Josiah. And finally I had it. First thing in the morning, I'd go and see the slyest man in Pigeon Inlet, Uncle Finn Fryer. He'd certainly know what to do. I was over to Uncle Finn's house bright and early. Right away, he started working on a scheme. There's one other man we should have in on this, Uncle Finn said. So we went and found Jethro Noddy.
I don't know if I can help you. Josiah won't let me in his store unless I apologizes first.
What for?
Well, for telling him last Christmas that he was uglier than an old dog hood. You know, he was so mad he was going to get his britch loader and shoot me.
Get your apology ready, Jethro. I was just thinking, that's what we can tell them we're all coming up to the store for. Come on with us. We're working on a plan. Let's go up and see that school teacher, by the way. We'll take a turn up there and talk to him.
Keep still. I'll pay you half price for a smashed bowl. $2 and not a cent more. I didn't break this all by myself, you know. Your daughter-in-law over there was the one who dropped it.
You'll pay the full $4, Miss Grimes, or there'll be no more credit for you in this store. It's time you people were taught a sense of responsibility.
Well, give me back the pieces then and let me glue them together for a flower pot.
Man, I'd gladly sell you the pieces back for $2.
$2? It was my bowl.
Yes, but the pieces were found in my store.
Oh,
Good day, everyone. Good day, Josiah. How are you?
What have we here today? A slight altercation?
An altercation? Where did you learn a word like that, Jethro?
Well, that's part of my Reader's Digest vocabulary course. A word a day keeps ignorance away. A-L-T-E-R-cation. A dispute between two neighbors.
Never mind your vocabulary. You are not permitted on these premises, remember?
Oh, cool down now, Josiah. Jethro come in here today to apologize to you for saying you were uglier than an old seal.
I said an old dog hood.
An old dog hood? That's about as ugly as you can find, isn't it?
There's no need to repeat an insult when apologizing.
How are people going to know what he's apologizing for, Josiah?
All right, then. Let's have an apology. Not one step further.
Oh, I got to get my hair cut first.
What do you want your hair cut first for?
Well, that's part of my complete reformation. Apologizing for insults, helping church organ funding, and improving me vocabulary.
Well, we're kind of particular who we accept donations from. And besides, it's pronounced vocabulary.
The Lord never turned down a sinner now, Suze. Better one sinner than 1,000 just men. That's Luke 15, verse 6, if I recall. There you go, Jethro, me old trout.
Cleanliness is next to godliness, Suze. That's another thing the good book says.
That it does, Jethro. Speaking of good books, Josiah, we hear you're charging your own daughter-in-law for space here while she tiles in the Lord's vineyard. In other words, you're charging the church instead of supporting the organ fund.
I'm only charging her on paper, Finn Pryor. In that way, I will have a record of my donation. I'm helping the church the best way I can.
But she brings in a good few customers, and you're making a profit off what you might sell to them, and the church gets none of that.
Yes, that's right. And when you consider the big profit you make off of them, the church should get some of it.
Big profit? Big profit? That's all you ever hear from you crowd. The merchant making a big profit. Well, all of you know I'm the same as every other businessman on this island. I make enough to cover my expenses, make a small profit and a half-decent living and nothing more.
A small profit? Well, I heard that most merchants sell things for 10 times what they paid for them. Isn't that a big profit?
No. That's a bloody fairy tale, that's what that is. That's more of the lies being spread about honest businessmen by a bunch of people that are too lazy to go into business for themselves.
Would you be willing now to sell anything here for 10 times more than what you paid for it?
Of course I would. Who wouldn't? And if you're stunned enough to give me 10 times what I paid for it, then it's yours. And there's nothing dishonest about that.
Anything?
Yes. Anything.
All right then, Josiah. Send me back that sealskin with the 15 shot holes in it.
Here, here.
Grandpa.
What do you mean, send you back the sealskin with the shadows in it?
He means exactly what he says. Sell him back to Holy Skin.
For how much?
For nothing.
Nothing. What do you mean for nothing?
Well, you paid him nothing for it, and 10 times nothing is nothing. So give him the skin back.
Here,
Here.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
A fine, smart lot you think yourselves now, indeed. I was wondering what you were all doing gathering here today. And it wasn't to help out the church or to offer any apologies either. I'm surprised at you, Grandpa Walker. You're a respectable man. I did not think that you would join such a clique trying to embarrass an honest businessman.
Never mind your divide and conquer now, Josiah. You're bound by your word to sell that skin back to Grandpa Walker for 10 times what you paid for it.
Proper thing.
Everything.
I see. Well, let me tell you something, Finn Pryor. You might think you're pretty smart, but I have no intention of being tricked into anything by a bunch of ignoramuses.
Ignoramuses. Now, that's a good word. How do you spell that, Josiah?
You don't even know what it means, and you are one.
Josiah, whether you're smart or not, you said you'd sell that sealskin back for 10 times what you gave for it. And you broke your word. As an honest man.
Well, go get someone intelligent who has the same opinion, and maybe you'll listen to him. The rest of you, you're only troublemakers. Now go on. Get out of here. Go on, the lot of you.
The school teacher's outside. Go and bring him in quick. Josiah, if we brought in an educated referee, will you abide by his decision?
Huh? You won't find one of them among your friends, Finn Pryor. Did you want something, Mrs. Antle? Or are you only here as part of the conspiracy, too?
Here's someone who got more education than all of us, including you, Josiah, the school teacher.
There you are. Come in. Come in. Come in. Make yourselves comfortable.
Mr. Cranford.
Oh, yeah, well, how are you? How's it
Yes?
going?
What are you doing here? Explain yourself. You're not forgetting, I hope, that I am the chairman of the school board.
And I'm the vice chairman, sir. Stand up, Joe.
Yes, well, Mr. Bartle, I was just passing by your store when Mrs. Grimes sort of just grabbed me and
Just
dragged me.
passing by my store. Do you expect me to believe you did not know what was going on here this afternoon?
Well, yes. Well, I mean, no, Mr. Bartle. Everybody in the harbor has heard the story about Grandpa Walcott and the sealskin with the shot hole since early this morning.
That's because they got nothing better to do around here than to gossip about decent people. I'm surprised at you, Mr. Cranford, mixing with the lowest elements in this settlement and getting involved in a private dispute, especially when you don't even come from around here.
Never mind where he comes from. He's got more education than Josiah, and he's got the college degree to prove it there. Haven't you, Mr. Cranford? Look, here it is. Here's the certificate. Look.
That's right.
He's an educated man, and you got to listen to him. Yeah.
What kind of trickery are you going to use now today to side with this crowd?
Well, Mr. Bartle, I happen to think that the logical and exact science of mathematics, sir, can be used to settle most arguments. If you'll permit me. I am speaking here, of course, of algebra.
Algebra? Don't listen to him. That's something they got cooked up among them now, a lot of them.
You give your word of honor, Josiah. He's an educated man.
Shut up about my word of honor. Go ahead, Mr. Schoolteacher.
But will you abide by his decision?
I'll hear what he has to say first, and I'll decide.
Well, very well. According to algebra, Mr. Bartle, we'll say that the two skins that you bought this morning from Grandpa Walcott are represented by the letters X and Y. Now, X is the good skin for which you paid $1. So X equals $1.
Yes, sir. That's right. Yes, sir. That makes sense.
And for the sealskin with the shot holes in it, Mr. Bartle, you paid nothing. No, as a matter of fact, sir, you paid less than nothing. 50 cents less than nothing, in fact, because you took 50 cents off the good skin on account of it. So Y equals minus 50.
Yes, sir. That's right. Yes, that's right.
That's ridiculous.
No, sir. That's algebra.
Carry on, Mr. Cranford.
Well, the first thing is, Mr. Bartle, Grandpa Walcott here should be allowed to buy back the sealskin with the 15-shot hole.
That he should. Yes, sir. That's justice.
Buy it back. Let him buy it back by all means.
And, Mr. Bartle, since you have been quoted many times, and as lately as this afternoon in this very store, as saying that you would be happy to sell anything that you have in this shop for 10 times what it is that you paid for it, and Y equals minus 50, and 10 times minus 50 equals minus $5. So, Mr. Bartle, not only should Grandpa Walcott receive the damaged sealskin, sir, but $5 besides.
Quiet down. Quiet down, everybody! You all think you're pretty smart, don't you? I'm surprised at you. Surprised at you, Mr. Cranford. Coming here with this crowd of troublemakers to defraud an honest businessman. All right, then. All right, then. Here. Take your only sealskin. Take your $5, too. Clear out of my store. Go on. Clear out. The crowdy, go on.
Jethro Noddy, you came here today to apologize to Mr. Bartle, and you never did it yet. At least have the honor to keep your word like he did his, and do it now.
Yes, I come here to apologize to you, Josiah, for saying you was uglier than an old dog hood. I'm willing to take that back. When I takes a closer look at you, I'm willing to admit you be not a bit uglier.
Get out of here. Go on. Never come back.
Grandma wasn't so happy when I got home with that holy sealskin. She said, that's what algebra is about. It was no better than bingo. But she let me keep the sealskins. And that's what I made those slippers out of. And 'tis no disgrace, I says, to be wearing them now and call them me algebra slippers, since they're the only thing that anyone ever got free of old Josiah Bartle.